for reducing vulnerability to the impact of climate events. Implementation and enforcement of strict building codes. That's always important. Integration of climate resilience in land use and planning so as to avoid risk areas when we're having new developments, and to protect natural buffers such as wetlands and mangroves and the like.
She spoke to the importance of investing in public infrastructure.
Another role of government, investment in resilient public infrastructure. We know that hospitals and schools and bridges and roads and drainage systems must not only be built, they must be maintained, and they must be upgraded at all times to withstand the extreme weather events that, as everyone has said, will come. Interest in, I spoke to this before, and promotion of renewable energy, including solar, geothermal, so that we reduce our dependence on fossil fuels and enhance our energy safety and security.
Ambassador Henry Matting explained that economic diversification is also necessary to assist countries effectively rebounding following a hurricane.
Economic diversification is also something that has to be looked at, because for many of us who are in mono-economic areas, when disaster events happen, for example, tourism very often is knocked out for a bit. And so we have to also think about the agricultural crops that we're using, those that are hardier and that can bounce back a little quicker, so that food security is not severely impacted.
She said the government should also keep regional and international partners engaged so that in the event of a disaster, partners are also able to assist. An equitable share of CBI and other resources between St. Kitts and Nevis has been a topic of discussion among social commentators, citizens and residents, and the political leaders of both islands for years. The World Bank has been tasked with working out the percentage of the equitable share of resources, otherwise called fair share. Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Honorable Dr. Terence Drew, said an update will be provided in short order regarding the World Bank and has been doing that in that regard.
The World Bank is an active matter. I spoke to the FS about it. She's getting the final documentation and information on it. So I'll be able to update the information as to where the World Bank is. That was supposed to be completed based on the initial information about May, as to how St. Kitts and Nevis should share its revenue. At least it will give us an objective framework as to how that should be done. And so I wanted that to be done.
The Prime Minister further emphasized that Kittitians and Nevisians must benefit equitably from the resources of the state, while mentioning the Children's Medical Fund, which helps children who are citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis.
People in St. Kitts and people in Nevis, they deserve equity. Always fight for that. For example, my Children's Medical Fund help Nevisians as well. And I've been helping Nevision. It's just that this last case was a big public case and people came to see how the fund works.
Prime Minister Drew had stated that a committee would be established to assist in analyzing a revenue-sharing arrangement between St. Kitts and Nevis, considering the Federation's constitutional construct. In January 2024, during a joint cabinet meeting of the government of St. Kitts and Nevis and the Nevis Island Administration, the Premier of Nevis, Honorable Mark Brantley, said he anticipates the issue of equitable sharing of revenue generated by St. Kitts and Nevis's CBI program between the Twin Island Federation will soon be resolved. The Climate Action Unit of the Ministry of Environment, Climate Action and Constituency Empowerment hosted a 4-day technical training that focused on a low emissions analysis platform from May 27th at the National ICT Center. The workshop was held as St. Kitts and Nevis does its part in intensifying efforts to mitigate the impact of climate change. LEAP is used for energy and climate mitigation planning to strengthen the capacities of relevant public and private sectors within St. Kitts and Nevis. It is also used to participate in the preparation of mitigation assessments for national communications and biennial update reports and develop their national determined contributions. The training catered to businesses and establishments whose work is connected to electricity generation and transport subsectors to create a framework to track St. Kitts and Nevis's national determined contribution, projects of greenhouse gas emissions, and supports reporting in respective fields. The sessions were facilitated by consultants from the Caribbean Cooperative Measurement Reporting and Verification Hub. In regional news, the Forestry Division in the Agriculture Ministry is responding to growing populations of the African green monkey and the green iguana. ABS News spoke with the country's senior forestry officer about this double threat to crop farmers. Here's more.
Senior Forestry Officer Adriel Thibault has confirmed the growing population of monkeys on mainland Antigua.
We are guesstimating over 100, maybe 200, and at worst, at the most frightening numbers that we got was over 1,000.
He says the current species of concern is the African green monkey, which is suspected to have been here for 20 years. The division visited St. Kitts and Nevis last year in an effort to learn more about the primates and how to deal with them, including the creation of monkey traps.
The reports that we received from St. Kitts and how these animals behave and how they interact with the island ecology over there. It is scary to think that if these things really become established on the mainland, we can't afford to allow them to get established, and it can't be done.
But the primates are not the only problem. There's also a concern about a reptile, the green iguana. Thibault says these found their way to Barbuda from Guadeloupe. It is also causing challenges on the mainland.
Right now, we've been receiving so much complaints from farmers, backyard farmers likewise, in Barbuda about the iguana and the impact they're having on their backyard farms. Lettuce and spinach, they're causing a real havoc.
Thibault adds, while the green iguana has been present in Antigua for a while, it is now posing a problem because of its growing population.
In the northern area around Clear Hall, Quesada Gardens, that farming district, they have been plagued by the green iguana, and I've had farmers that complain that they've lost entire crops.
The division is working to address both challenges to agriculture with a monitoring and control program, which is still in its early stages. Falana Johnson, ABS News.
In international news, Israel targeted a Gaza school that it is said contained a Hamas compound and said it killed fighters involved in the October 7th attack that sparked war. But Gaza media said the strike killed dozens seeking shelter. Here's more in this Reuters report.
Israel targeted a Gaza school on Thursday that it said contained a Hamas compound. Israel said it killed fighters involved in the October 7th attack that sparked the 8-month war. Gaza media said the strike killed at least 27 people seeking shelter at the United Nations school in Nuseirat in central Gaza. Video obtained by Reuters showed bodies being carried away from the rubble. Hamas-run media rejected Israel's claims that the school had hidden a command post of the militant group. Israel's military said that before the strike by Israeli fighter jets, the military took steps to reduce the risk of harm to civilians. Eyewitnesses said the attack took them by surprise.
We were sleeping when we suddenly saw a rocket falling on us. On the second floor, there were martyrs, and on the first, there were those injured. That's all we saw.
The attack came after Israel announced a new military campaign in central Gaza as it battles a group of fighters relying on hit-and-run insurgency tactics. Israel has said there will be no halt to fighting during ceasefire talks. On Wednesday, in an apparent blow to a truce proposal last week from U.S. President Joe Biden, the leader of Hamas said the group would demand a permanent end to the war in Gaza and Israeli withdrawal as part of a ceasefire plan. Washington had said it was waiting to hear an answer from Hamas to what Biden described as an Israeli initiative. Asked whether the remarks amounted to the group's reply to Biden, a senior Hamas official replied to a text message from Reuters with a thumbs-up emoji. Since a brief week-long truce in November, all attempts to arrange a ceasefire have failed. Hamas insists on a permanent end to the conflict, while Israel says it is prepared to discuss only temporary pauses until the militant group is defeated.
And now for the weather. Present weather is cloud cover is clear with a slight haze. Temperature is 32 degrees Celsius or 89 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds are a light breeze of 6 miles per hour from the east-southeast. Seas are 1 to 1.5 meters or 3 to 5 feet. A relatively stable and hazy air mass associated with a high-pressure ridge will continue to sit across the area and restrict shower activity over and around the Leeward Islands over the next 24 hours. Weather forecast in St. Kitts and Nevis for today will be partly sunny and hazy with a 20% or a slight chance of brief showers. Tonight will be fair to partly cloudy and hazy with a 40% or moderate chance of a brief overnight shower. Sunset today will be at 6:44 p.m. and sunrise tomorrow will be at 5:36 a.m. And that brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Scotty Sia Hendrickson.